Wall Titans, best known as the Titans Eren used to rumble in Season 4, hold a very dark secret, or dark past, should I say. There's a dark history that is hidden in the writing of Attack on Titan. Before I start this video, I do want to say that there are anime spoilers. If you haven't watched the anime, I don't think this video will make much sense to you, and this theory is completely anime only, so none of the manga that hasn't been adapted is used in this video. With that being all said, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so Wall Titans have a huge secret that is overlooked, and I'm not going to stall you any longer. Drum roll please. The big darkest secret about the Wall Titans and Attack on Titan is that they were once Eldian or human. Big surprise, Money Monsoon, you've pointed out the obvious. That is only what I assume most of you guys are saying, or half of you guys. I believe that there are a lot of people who have come to the conclusion that every Titan was once human. Before you guys start jumping at me saying that this isn't that big or this isn't so surprising, just hear me out for a second. This all stems down from this one mostly unanimous agreement that Ymir has created every single Titan in the past. Meaning every Titan that we see in Attack on Titan was created by Ymir, being Pure Titan, Titan Shifters, and the Wall Titans as we see in this scene. At first I couldn't really believe this claim being made, but we've seen Ymir generate Titan Shifters and Wall Titans in the past, which makes for 2 out of the 4 types of Titans, being Titan Shifters, Wall Titans, Pure Titans, and Abnormal Titans. We've only seen 2 of these Titans being made in the past, and the rest is kind of unknown, but we're assuming that it has been made in the past. From these Titans, the only Titan that retains their humanity is the Titan Shifter. That's not the only difference that Titan Shifters have from the other class of mindless Titans. Titan Shifters don't get their energy from the sun, meaning they can move without the sun, while Wall Titans, Pure Titans, and Abnormals require this to move. That's why the Wall Titans haven't broken out of the walls and basically stay in their place there. We know that every single Titan we've seen in Attack on Titan has been human up until this point. The only Titan class that hasn't been truly confirmed is the Wall Titan. We're assuming they're human, but we don't really know. And the only Titan class that can control their own hardening is the Titan Shifter class, which kind of divides these 2 Titan classes, the class with humanity and those without. The only similarity shared between all the classes has been that they were all once human, but the rest has quite a few differences, being that they're all powered by the sun, assumably made in the past, and can't control their hardening. If the Wall Titans could control their hardening, I'm sure that they might have been able to break out of the walls, but again, they didn't really have any energy without seeing the sun for a couple thousand years. The Wall Titans weren't in direct control of the Founder Titan. It's possible that they would also be trying to eat humans and regain their humanity, but that's besides the point. What I'm trying to prove to you here is that Wall Titans seem to share a lot of the same traits as the Mindless Titans, so it's not hard to also make the conclusion that they were once Eldian. If you still don't believe me, check this out. Wall Titans each have a different design, meaning they all have different traits. We've seen 2 different primary looks for the Colossal Titan, being Armin's Titan and Bertolt's Titan, but each and every one of the Colossal Titans have a different look to their face, or a different design. And the only time we've seen different designs on Titans is when we've seen different Titan holders for the same Titan. Eren's Attack Titan looked nothing similar to his father's Attack Titan. And of course, this isn't the only thing that changes the look of a Titan. Another primary factor to the look of a Titan has been the emotion of the Titan Shifter when they transform. Reiner has had a couple of different looks because he's always going through something, but there's never been 2 Titans that looked exactly the same. This has always been because of the different characteristics that humans have had in their life with humanity. And you could try and argue that Ymir just decided to not design the same Titan over and over when she was constructing the Wall Titans in the past. Well, Ymir doesn't have as much control as you might think she has over the look of Titans. She simply constructs the Titans. What really decides the look of the Titan is the human itself. Reiner's Titan looked different because of the emotion he had when Eren attacked Marley. So if Ymir doesn't control the look of Titans, what does she do? She pretty much just builds, like how a construction worker would build. They look at the design and they just build. She's pretty much giving this format off the motions of the Titan holders and simply constructs the flesh that gets summoned into the real world. So the Wall Titans were Eldians. What's so dark about the Wall Titans once being human? Well, at this point I should say that the Wall Titans' dark secret isn't really the Wall Titans' secret because they don't really have humanity. They can't hold a secret. Instead, it's the royal family's dark secret, primarily King Fritz's dark secret. Confirming that the Wall Titans are Eldians gives us insight on the past that was wiped away from the memories of the Eldians that lived in Paradise now. Have you ever wondered just what kind of memories were erased from the Eldians with the founder abilities? A mass genocide of their own people would be one of them. I do say genocide, but in actuality, he wouldn't really be killing the Eldians, he's just transforming them and making them lose their humanity forever. I would say once you lose your humanity, you are dead. Or perhaps forever suffering. Just to give you a proper scale on how many lives were lost during the creation of the walls, there are about 300 to 500,000 colossal titans in the walls of Attack on Titan. At the start of Attack on Titan, there are 1,260,000 Eldians living on Paradise Island. This means King Fritz would have had to kill off less than 40% of his own population on Paradise Island. And for reference, Paradise Island is Madagascar on a real world map but flipped, and currently Madagascar holds 29 million residents. So are these numbers viable? Does it make sense that King Fritz would use his own people to construct these Wall Titans? Well, King Fritz's goal originally was to stop the fighting or stop participating in the war because of how they dominated other nations with the Titan shifting abilities for years. So he ended up fleeing to Paradise Island and let his base on the main continent be occupied by Marley. Simply put, he made sure that Eldians wouldn't fight back and just accept their punishment. Fritz felt bad for what he'd done to the world, but he didn't really have any remorse for future Eldians to come. His mistakes were just going to be the mistakes that his people lived by for years to come. Not being able to fight back, he truly thought that the proper punishment was to just suffer from the attacks from the outside and accept any sort of enslavement that happens to Eldians. But he did decide to build a wall with Titans in them to intimidate other nations, almost as saying, we will fight back. But he never intended to use any of the Titans in the walls. If an enemy like Marley were to attack and raid Paradise, they would not use the Wall Titans whatsoever, which is kind of weird. He hid the Titans in the walls, but never intended to use them if attackers came. Isn't that weird? Why make the Colossal Titans? Hundreds of thousands of Colossal Titans being made for intimidation alone, even though he did not intend to use them? It simply doesn't make sense. He could have instead just claimed that there are Wall Titans and maybe have up to 5 Colossal Titans as a front to prove that what he says is true. But no, he surrounded the entirety of Paradise Island with Wall Titans. It just doesn't make sense. The construction of these walls wasn't to keep Titans out and to protect Paradise from a Marleyan attack, but actually it was made to keep Eldians in, away from the rest of the world, somewhat like a prison. As long as the Eldians stayed naive about the world, there wouldn't be any huge conflict or huge war outbreak. King Fritz saw this as a punishment for his own people. King Fritz didn't really do anything to help Eldians, he only prolonged their suffering, which makes me wonder, whose side was he really on? During the Great Titan Wars, he was definitely on the side of Eldians and his people. But after he felt that they have done too much under his command, he decided to switch sides to not really help out Eldians, but instead make sure that they suffer. If there's any chance that the royal family used the Colossal Titans in the walls, then it would most likely be used against the Eldians as a contingency plan. But one part of this still just doesn't make any sense. Why construct the Wall Titans? If the Wall Titans were never intended to be used, why make them? His only intentions of the Wall Titans being used was by another royal family member, and the royal family would only try to use the Wall Titans if the Eldians got too close to the truth, if they decided to go to war with opposing nations like Marley. It still just doesn't add up, because if they did get too close to the truth, they could always just wipe the memories of every Eldian. They would never actually have to use the Titans in the walls. But one argument does make sense for this. Fritz could have made the Wall Titans as a punishment for other Eldians. Yes, losing around 40% of the population does seem a bit extreme, but doesn't exactly seem like something Fritz wouldn't do. It could have easily been because of the numbers they had on Paradise Island and the amount they wanted to contain in the walls, but all we truly know is that this was King Fritz's plan, to build a wall full of Titans that he would never intend to use. If he truly did intend to make Eldians suffer, it's not a big surprise that he would take the humanity of most Eldians. Besides, no one would remember it anyways. He could alter the memory of all of his subjects and ensure that there would be no problem in containing the Eldians on Paradise Island. Just like if Eren were to wipe out most of humanity, he could erase the memories of Eldians to make it seem like they never existed. But of course, that is just a theory. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you think I'm onto something or if you think I'm just spitting out crap. I do like to know your opinion. But for now, catch you guys in the next one.